And so over the following couple months, I found myself at this store, and every time that I went there, that this lady was there, she would go out of her way to throw herself at me. But my understanding that she was a single mother um, made me have zero interest in her. And it was to the point where she was like so throwing herself at me that it would have been an effortless number grab. You might be like, well, Chris, you were trying dating and you were failing and you got frustrated by the how ridiculous things are these days. You sounded like you would have been happy for the opportunity, eager for any opportunity that throws itself at you, right? Well, no, not if it's a single mother because all right, wanted to do a video on an interesting thing that happened to me recently. I thought this would be a good way to discuss the state of modern dating. Because modern women are strong and they're empowered and they don't need men. They don't need us, man. They're strong. They can do it. So as long as they don't need us, we men, we have to learn to accept the fact that the vast majority of us, we're trash. And women are just they're killing it right now, man. Women are killing it right now. And you gotta learn as a man that you just ain't shit. All right. So basically as I've said in recent videos, I've tried dating apps. They don't work. I spent $350 on Tinder in 2020. Got nothing out of it. When I was before I started paying money into the Tinder app, I was only allowed this appeared to be my experience anyways. I was only allowed to get matches with three types of women. Those three types of women that I was allowed to match with while I was still before I paid any money into Tinder was obese women of a certain race, transsexuals, and single mothers. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. This is the only types of people that use Tinder? So then I'm like, yeah, this is probably pay to play. So I started paying money. As I paid money, suddenly I stopped getting only matches with obese women of a certain race, single mothers, and transsexuals. Hello Kitty. Um, but anyways, just to kind of sum up real quick here. So yeah, just the overall experience for me, and it looks like this is becoming a now widespread mainstream phenomenon. Men are being wiped out of the dating market because women have infinite options in 2022. The little black mirror that these women carry around. I used to think women would never be into online dating because I'm like, no, how could women respect a guy who hides behind a DM, who hides behind text messages? Like, don't women want like a dude who's like brave enough to approach her in person? Well, unfortunately, I was wrong. In fact, it turns out that women love this modern DM dating scene because they can now DM the high value men, the top 1% men that they fantasized about for all of human history. But they didn't have the option. They didn't have a way to do it. Plus, they didn't have a way to do it with the limited fear of rejection. It's a lot less intimidating to approach somebody when you're hiding behind a text message or a DM than it is to have to come up to them in person and signal your interest. So women are loving this. They've got the black mirror. They have access to the entire global sexual marketplace. They now are saying, well, why would I settle for the average chump in my local village when I can get the best of the best? And of course, the top 1% man, if you believe that the purpose of human beings and our mating strategies for a man is just to spread his seed far and wide, then you better believe the top 1% men will fuck anything that throws itself at him. And that's what's happening. And women don't understand it because Well, number one, they're not very intelligent, but they're strong. Women are strong, dude. They're on the top of the world right now, dog. Women are, bro. Come on, women are just on fire these days. I mean, look, they're too good for the average dude. So look, they're not. It's not that they're not intelligent. They're on fire, man. Women are just on the top, man. They got careers now, bro. They're fucking killing it, man. No, it's not that they're not intelligent. It's just that they have a blind spot. They don't see that they're all chasing the same dude. This is what the dating app statistics show. Got to be 6 feet tall, make a lot of money, good looking on certain metrics. And yes, it's pretty much the exact same metrics. It's not like this thing where it's like, oh, we women, we have nuanced tastes and we don't all like the same kind of guy. You like the same exact motherfuckers. This is what the dating apps are showing. So, um, it's a big nightmare. Women are basically, they're basically giving sexual access to the exact same top 1% of men. And pretty much every other guy is basically screwed. Unless you put in an extreme, insane amount of effort. Cold approaching dozens of women a week. Just crazy effort that I can't find a reason to bother. So yeah, basically had zero dating prospects for years. Pretty much zero women showing any interest in me at all. Like I don't leave my house very much. I only leave my house pretty much once a week to go do groceries at Walmart. But hey, Walmart's a big place. There's a lot of people there. Anyways, the point is pretty much zero indications of interest from any women. Oh, maybe you should go to bars, dude. Maybe you need to go to, or I can use the dating apps, right? Because like that's kind of like the new normal. Oh, I did use the dating apps. I got nothing out of it. I spent $350, got nothing out of it. I'm pretty sure that $350 probably it was enough to get me out of the free bargain bin category. You know, obese women of a certain race, transsexuals, and single mothers. But it wasn't enough to just actually get me a date with anybody. So I probably the asking price for a date with just a normal heterosexual single woman in 2022 is probably thousands of dollars. Literally thousands. The dating apps are like eBay for dating. You are bidding for sexual access to women. So, $350 chump change. They're probably laughing at me. They're like, haha, $350. But the problem is that $350 is my limit. Like in the bidding war, everyone's like, okay, 200, 250, 300, 350. I'm like, 350. Someone goes, 500. I'm like, oh, I don't want it. I don't want it that much. You know, once I started to see that women and mothers in 2020 en masse were muzzling their own children, I realized that it's not worth bothering pursuing women. I mean, I thought women had built-in motherly instincts, like a mother's intuition, a mother's survival instinct to protect her children at all costs. Then they started muzzling their children for an obviously not real health scare. And if they had instincts, they wouldn't have muzzled their kids. They would have intuited. They would have intuited with their incredible crystal ball ovaries that muzzling their children for a fake health scare in 2020, not a good idea. So that was debunked. So now that this idea that women are inherently instinctual protectors and nurturers, now that that's been debunked after 2020, I have basically no reason to put any effort into women. I tried $350 on a dating app and realized I wasn't going to get anything. In fact, I was still matching with single mothers, but then I had one horrifying experience where a single mother on the dating app, she hid the fact that she had a child from me until a full 10 days into our interactions. So we're like going back and forth, we're talking. spending time texting each other, and then after 10 days, she suddenly reveals she has a child. And so, okay, great. So, um, uh, yeah, it's just not worth the effort. So, anyways, I had an experience. So basically, I had so pretty much just a nightmare out there. It's over. As far for me, I'm basically like it's over. Um, but I had an interesting experience. So after this, getting nothing out of the dating apps, zero indicators of interest from any women anywhere, and basically kind of like whatever it is, what it is. Um, I was at a store, and there is a lady who works there who was throwing herself at me. The first woman clearly showing overt interest in me in years, right? Just like in person, clearly interested, throwing herself at me. Um, Obvious, right? Well, we're at the store, right? So there's other people there, there's customers there. I'm not going to get into too much detail to protect privacy, but she actually was talking to another customer and revealed that yes, she's actually a single mother. And so I was like, huh, not surprising. And so over the following couple months, I found myself at this store a few more times, having to buy things here, buy things there. And every time that I went there, that this lady was there, she would go out of her way to throw herself at me. But my understanding that she was a single mother um, made me have zero interest in her. And it was to the point where she was like so throwing herself at me that it would have been an effortless number grab. It would have just been effortless to get the ball rolling with this lady. But I had zero interest because she's a single mother. And you might be like, well, Chris, you were trying dating, and you were failing, and you got frustrated by the how ridiculous things are these days. You sounded like you would have been happy for the opportunity, eager for any opportunity that throws itself at you, right? Well, no, not if it's a single mother, because well, number one, you have to ask yourself, why is it that single mothers were in the free section of Tinder, the bargain bin? Why is it that I was allowed to match with those before paying any money to the app? Well, it's because self-respecting men don't want to take care of another man's child. It's as simple as that. And I think that might be kind of like the karmic penalty that women play for becoming single mothers. They're kind of doomed to only ever get with the most pathetic chumps. The kind of man who doesn't have the instincts intact enough to be like, wait. Why am I taking care of another man's kid again? So it was an interesting thing for a woman to be throwing herself at me in light of the fact of all the dating woes I've endured for the last 2.5 years, and me having literally zero interest because I knew that she was a single mother. And the thing is with single mothers is you don't know what she's looking for. Does she genuinely find you attractive and want to have some intimacy with you? Or is she just looking for somebody to help her because, life as a single mother is so hard? You don't know. And I don't want to be some disposable chump babysitter while the baby daddy is laughing his way to God knows where, and I'm stuck taking care of this guy's kid. Nah. So you don't know what a single mother's intentions are. You don't know if she's just pretending to like you because she wants to use you. I want to end this video off on a dark note as I propose a theory that occurred to me recently. And this is so kind of horrifying. I hope it's not true. Um, so I'm gonna be careful with the words because it's just such a horrible possibility. But we're living in the dark times, and this is the age of, can you handle the horrifying truth, or do you go and cope into a corner? I was wondering to myself, why why do single mothers bother? First of all, I was kind of like bizarre, like why would a single mother even risk becoming a single mother? Is she not aware that if she, is she not aware that if she chooses the wrong dude that she's not gonna be with for a lifetime, that she's gonna it's gonna be hard for her to find a dude in the future once she's a single mom? Are they not are women not conscious of this? Do they not realize that men don't want to take care of another man's kid? Maybe they just didn't know. I'm like, but that just seems like such an obvious thing you should understand, especially considering that women are so smart. They run shit. They're on fire today, bro. They're just on top of the world. I just figured they would have understood that. So why would single mothers bring this penalty upon themselves, where they would have so much difficulty finding a guy in the future that they respect, because no self-respecting man wants to take care of another man's kid? I was like, okay, maybe because they don't know. They just didn't know that men are territorial and that we don't want to be cucked. But then I was like, I don't know. That's such a blind spot. I don't think women are that ignorant. So I'm trying to think like, what's another explanation? Why would women ever put themselves in a position where they could become single mothers? Oh, they didn't know. I mean, obviously, if you're widowed because the guy died, that's different. I'm talking about single mothers by choice. Okay, I'm talking about you chose a dude who was trash, um, and surprisingly, now you're a single mom, or you decided you were too good for the dude, which a lot of women think they're too good these days because they're on top of the world, man. They're on fire. Women are just, bro, bow down, dude. Women are just on, bro. They're just killing it these days, man. So she leaves the dude because she thinks she's too good for them. Either way, she's doomed herself to single motherhood, and she's never going to be able to find a self-respecting man again who will take care of another man's kid. So I'm thinking, like, why do they do this to themselves? Trying to think of it, and then I thought of a horrifying possibility. Truly, truly horrifying. Because then I'm like, I was like surprised that single mothers even humble themselves enough to date lower level men, because that's what it is. It's like the reason I was getting single mothers on these dating apps is because the single mothers were a low valley on the dating app marketplace. So they were in the bargain bin, they were in the free section. So little old me, who maybe because I'm not 6 feet tall, I'm 5'10" and a quarter. Oh God, that makes me a third class citizen. But maybe because I don't have 6 feet in my bio on Tinder, or maybe because I've only put $350 into the bidding war, when the base asking price for just a date is like $3,000, I bet. It's probably something crazy like that. Um, um, yeah, good stuff. So, but that was all I was able to get. Single mothers, transsexuals, and obese women of a certain race. Okay, fine. So I'm like, well, why do single mothers? Because that's the only reason, the only woman who's approached me, who showed me really any indicators of interest in years in person, was this lady, this single mother at the store. And obviously, I'm thinking it's because she's lowered her standards. So I'm wondering why. I'm like, are single mothers actually so humbled by the fact that their sexual marketplace value has crashed to damn near zero, that they have to lower their standards. They actually humble them. The modern woman, strong. She's strong, dude. Man, single mothers can do it all. They work all day and they raise children by themselves. Oh, that's right. They just dumped their children into public schools to be raised by somebody else. While there's kids sitting in these little fucking chairs, 30 packed in a classroom with uniforms on. Uniforms on. Everybody's exactly the same. Woo-hoo. With masks on now and everything. Oh, that's right. Single mothers ain't shit. Throwing your kids in a public school is a coat to tell yourself you don't need no man. Side point. So I'm like, damn, are single mothers actually humbling themselves? Is that why they're willing to date an average chump like me? Are they humbling themselves? Have they been humbled? I'm like, man, single mothers are so strong and powerful. I'm surprised they would lower their standards. They're strong, man. They got careers. They have children. They're strong. I was like, I have trouble believing that single mothers would bother lowering their standards to date average chumps. I'm like, no way. So then I thought of a theory, like, wait, what if, this is the horror, what if, I'm trying to find a way to word this that is like really just gentle. I mean, so I'm like, okay, what if they're not humbled? What if the reason single mothers are willing to date average chumps who are willing to date her and take care of another man's kids? What if the real reason women settle for average as fuck, for really low average, is because they get kind of a kick. They get kind of a kick out of the fact that, um, you know, that that her baby daddy, has got other men taking care of his seed. It's just like, what if it's like, it's kind of like, you know, I was impregnated by a man. This man obviously wasn't a great man because for some reason he's still not around in my life. In some cases, that might be because he's an asshole and he didn't treat you too nice and he just pumped and dumped. And I just wondering, what if uh, when you get pumped and dumped by an asshole, you know, a mean guy, a tough guy, a rough guy, um, having another man who's lower than the father of your child, because only a man who's lower than the father of your child would put himself in a position where he's babysitting another man's kid. That makes the babysitting man lower than the actual father of the kid. You know, I'm wondering if there's some kind of, it's almost like a it's almost like a celebration of the original man. The man that, despite not really showing commitment. Okay, I guess if the guy pretended to show commitment and then completely abandoned his traditional masculine provider and protector duties later on, and you were just forced to end it with him. Um, but the point is, you have this dude, and he's showing. So you have this guy, and the father of the child, and now you've got other little men taking care of his child for you. I just wonder if there's some kind of, uh, I guess you could say maybe like a evolutionary psychology explanation on how that might be exciting for a woman. It might be exciting, something just like a thrill, like a little bit of a thrill that you were impregnated by a man of such value that lower men beneath him are forced to babysit him to get sexual access to you. I wonder if there could be some kind of psychological mechanism, because I'm so surprised that single mothers would settle. Because women are just so strong. They're on top of the world, man. They're on fire, dude. They're killing it, man. So I was like, man, are they really settling? Why would women settle for average chumps? See, especially single mothers, they're so strong. And I'm like, I wonder if there's another reason. I'm like, I wonder if there's some kind of, I wonder if it's like almost like a celebration, almost like it's almost a thrill, an excitement, a pleasure that comes from watching other men take care of the seed of another man, who by definition must be a bigger and better man than the little chumps taking care of that man's children. I wonder if there's some kind of kick you can get out of that. Because and of course that makes the case for dating single mothers even more abysmal. I mean, so a single mother approaches me at a store. Okay, she approaches me at a store, and I don't know why she's approaching me. I don't know. Does she just want a babysitter because life's hard as a single mama? Is it actually true that her ego has been humbled by the fact that self-respecting men don't want her, so she's been forced to lower her standards? But so she actually likes me, little old me, who ain't 6 feet tall. I'm 5'10 1/4. I know that makes me a third-class citizen. So, and then I'm like, is there another explanation? I wonder if there's some kind of fulfillment that comes, just to put it lightly. Let's call it fulfillment. Let's call it thrill. Let's call it excitement. Let's not get too descriptive here. I wonder if there's some kind of fulfillment that comes from the man who pumped and dumped you, having other lower level men take care of that man's seed. Anyways, random video. Just wanted to talk about that. Speculations, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm pretty much at a point now where I could never bother approaching a woman. I can't think of one good reason to put any effort into approaching modern women. Can't think of one good reason to do it. So I'm at a point now where I'm just like, well, I've kind of accepted just being alone, because I know women aren't going to approach me. Like, again, literally, the only woman who approached me in the last like 2.5 years was a single mother. And again, given everything I just talked about, you can see how that's actually worse than not being approached at all. Being approached by a single mother is actually worse than not being approached at all. That's the scary part that we're about. That's the scary part. So, so either be alone. I can't think of any good reason to pursue modern women. Trans women are increasingly indistinguishable from real women. It's hard to call the modern woman real, honestly, because they're so masculine. But trans women are just they're trailblazing right now. Some of these this isn't your trans woman from 1992. Okay? We're talking 2022. In 1992, it was like a 40-year-old bearded guy with a wig and lipstick and a skirt, and it's just like, you're repulsive. But in 2022, these trans women are they're trailblazing, And it's just like you look at one and you're just like, well, I mean, look, on the surface, you check a lot of the marks that I would find typically attractive in an actual real woman. Yeah, you might have a dick. That's not of interest to me as a heterosexual man. But I'm not gonna lie, like you grew your hair long, you got a little bit of makeup on, you know, you're wearing traditionally feminine clothing, you got not a single hair on your body. You got some of these trans women, they got like hips and everything, dude. It's just, I mean, it's just crazy. Now, so, oh, does that make you gay if you, well, I don't know. I mean, does dating a modern masculine woman make you gay? Big bossy women who they got jobs, man. They run shit. Does that make you gay? I mean, I know that there's a lot of men these days who are very timid and scared and submissive in the presence of their woman. Happy wife, happy life. You ever heard of that? To me, that's a form of homosexuality because you got that timid, subordinate energy around the woman. That's like the woman should be the one who's subordinate to the man, not that the man should be subordinate to the woman. So to me, if you live under happy wife, happy life, that is a form of homosexuality. So if you're going to say that me saying that trans women on the surface check a lot of the same boxes that a traditional woman, if she had them, I would have said that's attractive, then you're homosexual if you are in any way uh, beholden to the happy wife, happy life motto, or if you're subordinate, or if you're scared, or you let her boss you around. And most men these days, I would probably argue, most men in marriages, there's a reason the phrase "happy wife, happy life" even exists, and is so popular. A lot of men are in sort of fraudulent fiat marriages. Yeah, on the surface, it's a biological male and a biological female together, but if you look past the surface, you'll see that the woman is in charge. She runs everything, and the dude basically just does his best to not anger her. So that's essentially a homosexual relationship, or at least part ways. It's halfway on the personality level, on the power balance level. That's homosexual. Whereas, let's say I dated a trans woman, on the physical level, I mean these modern trans women look insanely feminine, and that's just the facts. It's a fact that they look feminine, at least what we traditionally view feminine as today, that we consider heterosexual. Um, so physically, and of course, if I ever dated a trans woman, it would be I would also want to have the masculine uh, power role. I would want to be in charge, and that the trans woman would be subordinate. Um, so it's like a funny thing. It's like a lot of men are like, "I would never date a trans woman because it's gay," and I agree. I agree that that's something that I would have always said. Now that it's almost impossible to get a girlfriend in 2022, I'm changing my views on trans women because it's like a trans woman. It's a femboy, fembot, or die alone, right? Those are like your three choices as a man, as an average man. Femboy, fembot, die alone. So it's like, okay, well, okay. What's worse, femboy or fembot? A plastic doll? A dude who's been taking estrogen for years and on the surface is indistinguishable from a fucking woman? Or dying alone. Pick your choice. I don't know. Pick your poison. Hey, whatever. Pick your poison, bro. Pick your poison. um. So again, I mean, look. Okay, let me reiterate this. I could. I don't have to date trans women. I can date a single mother and take care of another man's kid and be a cuckold. Cuckolding is a form of homosexuality. You might as well be getting anally impaled by the fucking dude, by the father of the kid. So, God, there's a lot of coping happening these days. Men are doing a lot of sneaky things that they're doing a lot of sneaky things to avoid either having to turn gay or die alone. So, one thing that men do to avoid turning gay or dying alone is they'll get with a woman, but he'll give her all the power. So she'll tolerate his existence because she's got a good little worker bee slave that she can boss around. Well, that's homosexuality because you, the man, have taken a subordinate position. You are in the feminine right now. Okay. Um, what are some of the other copes that men do? Dating single mothers, inherently cuckoldry. You live under happy wife, happy life, homosexual relationship. You're taking the subordinate position. Um, so like, let's not bullshit here. Let's not bullshit here. Okay. Just because you didn't date a trans woman, because you happen to find a woman who tolerates your presence because you're a good little obedient doggy slave to her. I don't know. In my book, you're still an incel. In my book, you didn't get no victory. You didn't get no victory. So yeah, trans women to me, I don't know. It seems like a real option. So it's either okay. So I got three options: femboy, fembot, or die alone. Those are my three options in 2022. Um, uh, I don't know. Uh, I think the trans option is kind of interesting right now. I'm gonna be honest. And again, like you can't, you know, you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't be in the subordinate position, happy wife, happy life. That's basically like you're being a little lady. You're in the subordinate. You're like a little. You're a little. You're scared, and that's like being homo. That's like homosexuality. So you really got to think about how you get triggered, how you get triggered. So yeah. So yeah. Um. So yeah, that turned out to be a little longer video. So all right. That's it for now.